Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Masters cranks up today. Probably going to be a lot of weather delays in Augusta National. Softball lost last night in a midweek game to the South Florida Bulls. First time I think the Bulls have beaten us in about 10 or 12 years. So they head to Missouri, who's a very good softball team, highly ranked. And then, as we all know, baseball cranks up this weekend against South Carolina. Let's go to the Titan More Hotline. Today we have on Brent Beaird, our college football analyst. Second portion of today's program, we'll have Freddie Wehbe, Director of Revenue at Florida Victorious. We want to tell you about everything going on Saturday for the spring game that Florida Victorious is involved in. Good morning, Brent. You're on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. How we doing, my man?
Doing okay. The Twitter saying that the Masters may not even start to 1. They've got a lot of difficult weather either there or heading their way. So, but the good thing about it is for all of us, it will move out this afternoon. But excited because we have 8 spring games for the SEC. And about that many for the ACC. So the next 2 weekends for college football fans are going to be good.
Yep, and I believe you can watch, if you can't attend whatever university you support or want to watch. All these games are on the SEC Plus, correct?
Yeah, it's either SEC Plus or ESPN Plus, so folks may need to hunt around a little bit for that. The Alabama game is only one that's on ESPN. It's at 4:00 Eastern time. Also, the Ohio State game is on this weekend, I believe, and then Michigan is either this weekend or next weekend. Both of those are on Fox. So I give Fox credit. They wanted to do something with college football, and they did. So that is a good thing for them. But yes, that's kind of where we are right now with a slew of spring games the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, Cameron has a question on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plum. Have you seen the new UFL extra point rules? Teams can go for either 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, that was the rule they implemented last year in the XFL and took it over to the UFL. Brent, Labor Day weekend is not far away from us, but we got some SEC teams playing on Labor Day weekend.
They've changed the schedule a little bit. Thursday of Labor Day weekend, Murray State is at Missouri. The change was Friday, Temple is at Oklahoma. And again, we need to get used to Oklahoma and Texas. That's going to be a while. Obviously, we have a lot of games on Saturday. And then on Sunday, one of the better games that we'll see, or at least on paper, we've got LSU Southern Cal in Las Vegas. That will be a 7:30 ABC game. I'm sure we'll see some other changes to the schedule as it goes, but by doing so, we've got SEC games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. How about that?
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. It'll be here before we know it. It moves pretty
will.
fast once spring ball's over. Okay, so the transfer portal will be opening up, I believe, on April the 16th.
Tuesday.
Just fill all our listeners in. I'm sure they may be aware of this, but the rules and regulations of this next window.
Yeah, this is important. It's going to run for 2 weeks through April the 30th. Now, basically anybody can transfer during that time without penalty. there are restrictions in the SEC. Now, this is the biggest thing that people need to understand, that players during the spring cannot transfer from one SEC team to the other. You can do that in the winter transfer portal, but you cannot do that during the spring. Now, there still are graduate transfers can enter without restriction. That's one of the great things about being a graduate. Also, the NCAA will grant a 30-day immediate portal window for players whose head coaches leave. Hopefully, we won't have any more of that. So, just some things to be aware of. So, yes, the portal will open next Tuesday. So, we will see who is very active in that and who is not.
Looking at the, a lot of people, kind of like in the NFL, they look at what the team needs are.
Yeah.
Some publications have what each individual SEC school still needs to improve their roster via the portal. Want to give us a rundown of those?
Yeah, sure. Georgia is looking for defensive linemen. The Tennessee running backs. On this list, it has Florida wide receivers, Alabama offensive linemen, cornerbacks, and safeties, LSU defensive linemen and cornerbacks, South Carolina wide receivers, Ole Miss running backs, Auburn wide receivers, and Oklahoma offensive linemen and defensive linemen too, to consider that. Hugh Freeze says he's not going to get another quarterback, so Peyton Thorne is basically going to be the guy. And they've got some younger quarterbacks that they like. And Georgia actually is getting a quarterback, or at least that's what Kirby wants to do. They've got Gunnar Stockton and Carson Beck, but they want more guys in the quarterback room. And by the way, that people may have heard or seen, do you remember the name Bear Alexander? Shane, the defensive lineman from Georgia, he transferred to Southern Cal. There were a lot of rumors about him being in the portal again, but yesterday he came out and said that he is not leaving Southern Cal. Now, this is a guy that if he transferred, it would be his third college. But he said he's staying, so we'll take him in his word. And listen, this is a guy who transferred every year of his high school career.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, boy, that is a flashing red flag, isn't it, Shane?
Yeah, there's no question. Joseph says on Facebook Live, I think he's in Augusta. Brought to you by Melon Law. He says it's not even raining in Augusta right now. It's overcast, but no rain at the moment. I bet it's coming though.
It is.
Or they'd be teeing off. I guess the one big surprise, so to speak, is Oregon State star running back is in the portal. Any word on where he may be leaning to go?
No, they're just a bunch of schools who are looking at him. Damian Martinez, as who Shane is talking about, ran for 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns last season. So you can imagine he will have a lot of schools who will be interested in him. So we'll follow that and see where that goes. But you normally don't see a lot of big-time guys like this who are in it late, but he is.
Yeah. We're speaking with Brent Beaird on the Titan Emerald Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We'll have Freddie Wehbe from Florida Victorious tell us about the big weekend and what all they have going on this weekend at the spring game. Speaking of the NIL, Brent, there's been some talk about direct pay via NIL to the athlete. Where does that stand?
Let me tell you what is coming that is a real concern for a lot of coaches and administrators, and I'll be brief about this. There is a lawsuit that is supposed to have a trial in January of next year. It's called it's House, just like House, versus NCAA. And what is concerning here is the way this thing could go would be paying athletes retroactively. How far back would you go in order to do that? So that's one we'll talk about on and off over the next few months, that we will watch that very carefully and see where that goes. But that will affect a lot of the NIL situation, particularly if the schools are concerned about, okay, it's one thing that we're going to pay these guys going forward, but if the courts make us pay them retroactively for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it doesn't take long to have a lot of money with that one, does it, Shane? So that is a real concern. So we will certainly update on that on a regular basis.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. Brent Beaird on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. All right, Brent, let's go around the league. Alabama, I believe the A-Day game is this Saturday as well.
Yes.
Anything changed since the last time we talked to you about Alabama?
No, not a whole lot. Jane Roberts, their starting right guard, who did a great job last year, hurt his foot. He's in a boot, but Kalen DeVore said that he will be fine. Jalen Milroe is still the starting quarterback, but Ty Simpson, the backup, has looked extremely good in the spring practices and the scrimmages. They've got a 6'5" kid in Caleb Odom, who was a tight end. He's now a wide receiver and done very well. They're very pleased with some of their defensive backs who have stood out. Xavier Brown for one of those, Red Morgan. He's a safety. He's done real well. Shane, you'll know a lot about this one. That looks like one of Alabama's, possibly their new center, is going to be redshirt junior James Brockermeyer, who has really stood the test of time and earned that spot. So that's something we'll keep up with during the spring game and over the next few months. But Brockermeyer has impressed the coaches, and Shane, he may be ready to go.
And what's interesting is James was the smaller of the twins. Tommy was the
you're
elite
right.
top tackle in America.
That's
and it was
right.
kind of a package deal to get Tommy. They had to sign James. Well, Tommy ended up transferring to TCU, and James is still there, and looks like he's going to be their starter. So it's kind of an interesting story. Text on the Titan Tomorrow Texan from Josh in Mississippi says, Brent, do you have an early pick of an SEC team that will perform better than the so-called experts think, and one that will surprise everyone on being much better?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think everybody thinks Ole Miss is going to be in the playoffs. Probably otherwise, you may be looking at now. I know this sounds funny, but Oklahoma is a team that I like the quarterback. Their defense is going to get better, but they have struggled, frankly, over the last year or so. So probably keep that in mind. A&M may be a lot better than we think that they're going to be. Connor Weigman at quarterback, he's been hurt. He's overcoming a lot of surgery and rehab, but they may be in good shape. That's a great question, though, and you could throw Auburn out there too. We're going to talk about Auburn next, and the reason for that would be is not so much Peyton Thorne, but they've got a wide receiver that they love. He's a true freshman, Cam Coleman. He's a 5-star. Looked great in the spring game. They had their spring game last week So if folks want to take a look at this kid, Google the Auburn spring game for Cam Coleman, or put his name in. You'll find things on him because he could be a real star in the league.
Yeah. This is an interesting comment on the Titan and More text line from Brett and Jax. He says, I still draw a blank on this transfer portal. School X gives 100 grand to a player. Then the player decides, I'm out of here. What happens to the money? Most schools, they do have some type of contract. We can ask Freddie Wehbe from Florida Victorious when he's on. I think they have 6-month contracts. So you have obligations to do charity stuff. I know this is how Florida does it. You got to go show up, do your charity work, then they pay you. But yeah, I mean, the kids still get their money for the most part, from what I understand. It's a mess. It is a mess. Speaking of the Gators, Brent, what's going on in Gainesville?
Well, they're ready for Saturday in the Orange and Blue game. Hopefully that'll be a good crowd there and some excited people. What you've heard about this week, I think the secondary is playing better. They're working on tackling. They had a lot of missed tackles last year, so that is a priority. Tulane transfer DJ Douglas, who is a safety, has caught a lot of people's eye. So that's good. Eugene Wilson obviously is going to be a superstar at some point, I believe, if he's not now. So I think there's a lot of excitement about him. Kim Jackson is going from 374 to 335, the defensive lineman. So that's good. So Florida, like a lot of schools, excited about playing this weekend.
Christopher on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, I was listening to the High Top Sports podcast last night. They said they are hearing whispers of wide receiver Andy Jean entering the transfer portal. Have you heard? I've not heard anything. It would not surprise me though. He's been constantly hurt since he's been here. I will tell you this, that as Brent mentioned a few minutes ago, if there's a solid veteran type wide receiver that pops into the transfer portal in this next couple of weeks, Florida will go heavy after them. I think I like their receiving core. But when you lose a guy like Ricky Pearsall, you need somebody that has some experience to replace him. They got that out of Shamir DK, if I pronounce this right. I'm going to get his name correct before the season starts. But, like I told you, Pearsall, I'll argue with anybody that he's a top 10 or top 15 receiver ever played here.
Yeah, good point.
So, anyway, LSU, what's going on in Baton Rouge?
The Tigers are I think the main thing is they've had some folks come in and go in. Brian Kelly said Major Burns has really done a good job in the secondary. They've got a real emphasis on defense, and they needed to because last year it was awful. They are losing Jackson Howard, who's a linebacker, into the portal, so he is going there. And they've also got their running back, Trey Hawley, is in a legal situation that they've got to be able to figure out that is very serious. So that they're still following that and waiting to see where that is going also. But LSU has their spring game like 7 other SEC teams on Saturday.
Yes, for sure. Missouri, they had their spring game a while back, but they've lost some players to the transfer portal since spring has ended.
Yeah, and we're just going to see that. They've got, or these guys are at least expected to go into the portal. Ty Montgomery, who is a defensive lineman, tight end Ryan Horsterkamp, also Michael Cox, a running back. Those guys are expected to go in. So we will keep an eye on that. As Shane said, they had their spring game several weeks ago, frankly. So they were rebooting for the summer. But it would be interesting to see what they do for the portal if they need to do anything too.
So Ole Miss it's gonna be a very eventful spring game. They have more stuff going on. I saw this. from some buddies of mine that sent me. Lane has a deal where they're having some contests between fraternities, between sororities. They got damn Joey Chestnut coming to eat hot dogs. Uh, I mean, who knows if they're actually going to play football in this thing?
Yeah, yeah, really. The football would just be a minor part of the weekend, I believe. Now, imagine being in the hot dog eating contest, and you look up and Joey Chestnut is standing there, who's the world champion with it. I don't know if that'd be intimidating or not, but that should be fun too. The Ole Miss, Dylan Alford, who is a wide receiver, has committed to Ole Miss over Missouri A&M and Tennessee. So we've still got recruiting going on during this time too. But again, as we mentioned earlier, Ole Miss is loaded. Jackson Dart comes back. Trey Harris, Walter Nolan's transferred from A&M. This is going to be a very, very good Ole Miss football team.
Yeah, it will be. Oklahoma, we spoke about them last week. Not a whole lot. I mean, if you haven't watched a lot of OU, they're going to have a new quarterback. Dylan Gabriel has left to go to another team, but their game is I want to say their spring game is on SEC Network or whatever. But we talked about they're going to open up against Temple on August 30th.
Right, that's a Friday. That's the difference with that. I believe that may be the first Friday game they've ever played, or at least they played in a long time. So that would give everybody a chance to see the Sooners instead of them playing on Saturday and kind of being caught up with a lot of teams. They get a little bit more of a spotlight.
South Carolina, I think this is a huge year for Shane Beamer.
It is.
It's hard to win. It's hard to win there, but I just think I don't want to say he's on the hot seat or what have you, but I feel like they need to have a really, really productive year for him to continue to be their coach. Do you have the same feeling, Brent?
Yes, yeah, I really do. They just need to show some improvement. And that, I mean, look, obviously they did early on. When he started, they won some important November games, Tennessee, Florida, Clemson, but have really not shown much. This is his fourth year, which is hard to believe that it is, but they do have some guys out for the spring. C.J. Adams, wide receiver, linebacker, Mohammed Kaba, Raheem Sanders, which is Rocket Sanders. This guy can make a huge difference. Rocket Sanders, as people remember, was at Arkansas. He's a major talent at running back. Has been limited because of injury, shoulder injury now. And if they can get him back, because Shane, we know Spencer Rattler is gone. So if they could get a big-time playmaker, and I think that's one of the things that's held them back over the years, and they get more big-time playmakers, that will help them immensely.
Yeah, for sure. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food, Tropical Smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. A few more minutes with our college football analyst, Brent Beaird, on the Titanville Hotline, courtesy of Comfort 10. All right, the Tennessee Vols. I think, they were horrible throwing the football last year. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a damn where Joe Milton goes in the draft. He stinks. Right. I think they're going to be a lot better back to kind of how they were under Hendon Hooker. Your thoughts on Tennessee?
Agree totally. Milton could throw it 70 or 80 yards, but he's struggling throwing a 8-yard out for a first down. So I think Nico Lamaliva, and we'll get his name pronounced correctly before the season begins too. Everybody loves him. He's their star quarterback. They have done a lot to invest in their wide receivers. From a high school ranks, Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley. They've also got Chris Braswell, who's from Tulane, that a lot of people like. And obviously they've got Squirrel White, Brew McCoy. So look, they think the quarterback, they've got the receivers, and they're going to be very good offensively. But I heard a Tennessee beat writer talking yesterday that they still are not sure that this is a playoff team and there still may be some rebuilding yet to go.
Yeah, got a text here on the Titan More text lines from the area code 252. I don't know where that is. It says, Shane, would you agree that Florida and LSU are the same? They've been great for 20 plus years, other than owning their own state recruiting, but they didn't, meaning LSU didn't fall behind like us. Here's what I will say to that. LSU's always had tremendous talent, and I believe they have the best fan base in all of sports. And they struck gold when they got Joe Burrow. Let's be honest.
Sure did. Yeah.
He basically, because they had not been, I don't remember the last time they had a decent quarterback since Tommy Hodson.
Yeah.
Before I played. And then Joe Burrow comes along and sets the world on fire. So, I mean, comparing the programs, I don't know how many national titles they've had in the last 30 or 40. I mean, all three coaches, Coach O, Les, and who's the coach now? I just lost my mind. Oh, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly has not won a national title, but the other ones did, and they got rid of them. So I don't know how to answer that question, but it's a good question for sure.
It is.
Yes. Brent, give us some nuggets before we get you out of here.
Yeah, Texas is just want to mention with them too. A lot of excitement about Texas on the offensive side of the ball. Jaden Blue, he had a good scrimmage. Kelvin Banks, Jake Majors did the same. They've got some guys on the defensive line. Jerron Bledsoe, Alex January. Now we'll get more familiar with Texas as it goes along. Ryan Wingo is a freshman wide receiver. They love him. We mentioned Connor Weigman at A&M. He is in some competition from Jalen Henderson, who is really good, by the way. Marcel Reed, we will throw in there too. Texas had they've got their spring game coming up, but Clemson had their spring game last week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. They've got a really good receiver crew that we will talk about too. At FSU, Lawrence Toafila is back. He's having a good spring. That they're excited about him. Malik Benson, who transferred from Alabama, he had a good scrimmage recently. Miami is very excited about tight end Elijah Lofton. He has been one of the guys in the spring that they've been very excited about. Who has been very impressive during that time too. We don't have time to go into it, but we'll talk about this later on down the line. ACC people are telling us now that Virginia Tech may be a team to look for. We may have to believe that, see it to believe it, but they are number one in the nation in returning production with players. So just hitting a few highlights. And again, Shane, we're looking forward to the spring games in Gainesville, watching the one in Alabama, at Ohio State, and we'll be reporting on all those next week.
All right, before we get you out here, last question for you from Facebook Live, brought to you by Mental Law. And he says, Brent, happy belated birthday. How many points have to be scored in the orange and blue game to satisfy Gator fans?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, we certainly don't need to see a 10-7 type thing. But, I mean, you certainly want to see efficiency with the units coming on and off the field. Want to see better tackling. And you know, it's tough because you want to see some points, but you probably don't want to see 52-50. Because that makes you wonder about the defense. So I don't know. That's a good question. I'll just throw out 28-21, something like that. That will be enough excitement to keep folks going a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Brent, have a great weekend. Who did you pick to win the Masters? Did you pick anybody?
Scheffler.
Well, I'll be dang. That'll way to go out on a limb, Brent. Way to go out on a limb.
Yeah, really. Because a lot of the other guys, for winter, like Justin Thomas and so forth, are having some issues. So, and right now again, they're having issues with storms. So, I won't be starting until this afternoon.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
You too, brother. Take care.
That's Brent Beaird, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Going to take a quick timeout, come back, get your questions ready for Florida Victorious. They're going to tell us what all's going on this weekend here in Gainesville for the Orange and Blue game. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union.
Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, Play, Watch. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the Director of Corporate Revenue, Freddie Wehbe from Florida Victorious. Good morning, Freddie. Appreciate you coming on the program.
Good morning, Shane. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Freddie, I want to get you on because Florida Victorious is kind of the title sponsor of the Orange and Blue game. Y'all have, I bet you haven't slept in months. Y'all have so much going on. Just let everybody listening what's going on before the game and after the game and during the game.
Of course, there's a lot going on. It's our first football game this season, and we won't have another game for about 4 months or so. So come support your Gators. The Orange and Blue game kicks off at 1 o'clock in the Swamp. We're looking hopefully for a big attendance to support the Gators and get the momentum going. And Florida Victorious is the official sponsor of this game. It's the only game we sponsor, and we're going to make it lots of fun. We've had a lot of excitements, and our team has worked very hard to make it an exciting and entertaining Orange and Blue game. The field obviously will take care of itself, but for fans, there's a lot of fan engagement. There's really 5 major things that we're doing. Post-game, right before the game, we'll be in the North Lawn, look for one of the largest tents out there in Florida Victorious, where you can check out the Chevrolet, the truck that we're giving away. We have a big tailgate at Florida Victorious tailgate. There'll be a bunch of former athletes there. There'll be a lot of existing athletes there, student athletes, coaches. I know Coach Golden will be there with his team, Walter Clayton and his fellow teammates. Coach Kelly Ray's coming with some of her players. Coach Jenny Rowland is coming with most of the gymnastics players. They'll be all in the tent at the North Lawn between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. We also have some giveaways to give out. We're bringing over 1,000 items to give out, swag, basically Florida Victorious swag to the fan base, and people can come and get them and spin the wheel and what have you. We have an information booth as well, a membership booth. You can join Florida Victorious. And one of the biggest things we're doing this year, after the game, is you'll be able to enter the field, Steve Spurrier Field, and join the meet and greet with all the players and Coach Napier and some of the coaches, be able to take pictures, sign autographs. And to do so, you have to be a member of Florida Victorious. One of the perks of Florida Victorious is you get to get perks like this and benefits. You get exclusive content, access to your favorite Gator athletes, behind the scenes tours, meet and greets, autographs, and this is the big one. For the first time in a long time, the team will be on the field. You'll be able to join them if you have a membership. You can go to floridavictorious.com and join us. The minimum is $15 a month. We've had thousands of people have registered already. Our membership is over 3,000 right now, and hopefully we make it even bigger.
Tommy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Will Florida Victorious members have a way to show membership?
Yes, you should be able to show it on your phone, or if you want to come to the tailgate on the North Lawn, we'll match it and make sure you have it. And if you're not a member, come on down to the tailgate and join us. We'll have a membership thing. You'll be able to get your wristband, pick it up. You will need a wristband to get on the field after the game. So if you don't have it, come see us at the tailgate and we'll take care of you.
We have a question on the Titan MR text line. Will it be specific players after the game, or the entire team will be out there?
The majority of the team. I think we've got about 80 confirmed. I'm sure there'll be some injured and what have you, but the majority of the team will be there. Lagway will be there. Mertz will be there. Many of the stars will be there. Coach Napier will be there. It's going to be an exciting time. We're making, again, the Florida Victorious is helping this event, and we're trying to get as many fans to the stadium. Let's support our Gators. Let's get going the right way. And there's other things going on as well. We're giving away a Chevy truck. If you haven't registered, we're on a deadline right now. It's floridagators.com/Silverado. It's a brand new 2024 Gatorize with all Gator skins. You can see it on the video if you're watching via YouTube and Facebook Live. It's an amazing truck, and someone's going to drive this baby on the field. We'll have it on the field at the end of the second quarter. We will pick 3 people from the fans. They'll come down. One of them will have a key that starts it, and they can drive this baby home. Someone is taking this home. That's part of our partnership with the Florida Victorious and the Southern Chevy dealers. Thanks for them for helping the Orange and Blue game and the Florida Victorious.
Yeah, I mean, so 3 people come down, y'all hand them 3 sets of keys.
Yep.
And they go to crank it up. Oh man, that's going to be good stuff there for sure.
There's going to be.
All right, I also know that y'all are doing a deal with the Townsend boys and like a little punting contest. Can you tell us about that?
Of course, and that's another exciting piece of what Florida Victorious is doing at the Orange and Blue game. We at the end of the first quarter, we have a punting contest sponsored by the Florida Victorious. Both Townsend brothers, Johnny and Tommy, both former Gator punters and NFL members, will be on the field. They will punt each individually towards a Florida Victorious target, which will be on the 5-yard line. The ball that's closest to the target will win, and one of the two will get a $2,000 donation from a donor of Florida Victorious to their favorite charity. Johnny has selected, obviously, the UF Health Pediatric Children's Hospital, and Tommy has selected the Special Olympics charity. So one of those 2 charities will benefit. As you know, we have a foundation at the Florida Victorious, a nonprofit with the Florida Victorious. We have 12 different charities right now, and soon to be 16 charities that are under the foundation. Our community involvement and charitable work is something we're very proud of at the Florida Victorious as well.
Last time we spoke with you, they basically came to Freddie Wehbe to go out and get corporate sponsorships. And I know that in the last several months, you look on Twitter and it's this bank or this car dealership. So y'all have done a tremendous job going after the corporate businesses to support Florida Victorious. Can you kind of give us an update on how that's going?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought this question, Shane. We've worked very hard as a team to go out and solicit sponsorships and donors. There's 3 ways to support Florida Victorious. You can donate, you can subscribe and become a member, and membership starts at $15 a month, or you can become a corporate sponsor, and we can tailor a package to any budget and help you get some assets and some student athletes into your business and even some media to your business and grow your business no matter where you are. There's over 500,000 alumni of the University of Florida. The majority live in the state of Florida. If you're in this area, in the Gainesville area, or the Tampa area, Orlando area, it doesn't matter. There's Gators everywhere. There's a couple million, fans out there as well. So if you're a business owner or participate in the business in any position, and you want to help the Gators win, you can just click on sponsorship. We'll contact you and we'll tailor a package for you. And to answer your question correctly, it's been going great. We've worked hard to build a brand and let people know what Florida Victorious is. We've got billboards, radio spots, social media, marketing to really tell people what Florida Victorious is. Many people didn't understand what we do. We're not clear what we do. Some did, some did not. At the end of the day, NIL is here and it's here to stay, and people have to embrace it and accept what it is. And it's more and more are switching to that today. And the marketing and the branding and the awareness that we've worked hard as a team to do so is helping as well.
Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself on excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. We got Freddie Wehbe, Director of Corporate Revenue for Florida Victorious, on the Take No More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Team. So, Freddie, I'd like for you to address, because there's still people out there I don't think quite understand Florida Victorious. And we had a couple of text messages wanting to know, do y'all work along with the UAA? Does the UAA tell y'all what to do? There's two separate deals, but y'all do work together, correct?
Of course, and we do work with the UAA. We're a third party. We're not associated with the UAA, but we talk to the UAA every day. We collaborate, we partner, we discuss. You have to follow, just like any other successful business that works with athletics, you have to follow the rules, the NCAA rules. They have a great compliance department. And the UAA has always been a willing partner. We regularly meet, and we both have one goal in mind, and that's an aligned goal, and that's to help the Florida Gators win. But yeah, we collaborate with them. We make sure everything we're doing is correct. They approve all of our art, all our decisions, and then opportunities. When ideas come up, like those 5 things we're doing for the spring game, we meet with their marketing. We collaborate and meet almost daily to make it happen. There's a lot of work that happens to get all these things going and done right. We collaborate, and eventually all these things happen. As you can see, we're going to have players on the field for the first time. We're giving away a Chevy truck for the first time. We have a punting contest for the first time. There's other things that are coming as well, as we work with the coaches and make it happen. But what matters is this is the one game until September, I believe. This is the first game. Gator fans can come to the game, attend. The attendance is free. There's no ticket to purchase. If you have kids, grandkids, come on up. The game starts at 1:00. Enjoy the game, have fun, enjoy the festivities before the game and after the game as well.
Yeah, for sure. We had a text earlier, and I would like for you to address this, Freddie, because it's, I think a lot of people don't understand. So this was from Brett. He says, so it's not just the Gators. School X gives, say, $100,000 to a player, then that player decides to transfer. What happens to that money?
That's a deep question, and really that goes back to Nate, our CEO, that handles all the contracts and what have you. We have a team of 11. Each of us specifies on different roles in the organization, but I'm sure there's rules with that where Nate and the UAA will coordinate and make that happen. I can tell you that everything we do is correct. We try to do everything right, and whatever the right way to do it, we will do so as well.
All right, Greg says, so you register online to win a truck, then they're picking 3 people out of the crowd, huh? I would assume that that you have to be present, because you have to go put the keys in the ignition. So you're going to announce Joe Brown, who signed up on the line, correct? Isn't that how it works?
That's correct. We're going to pick randomly 3 folks from registered names. You have to be present to win. They'll bring you down in the first quarter to the field, and then in the third quarter, they'll give away the truck.
David on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, I'll join Florida Victorious if Freddie Wehbe will speak at the Panhandle Gator Club.
Deal.
All right, good deal there.
Shane, we do need members. 1 membership, 2 memberships, 100 memberships. At the end of the day, just imagine if Gator fans all give $15 today to the Florida Victorious. We'll become the #1 NIL collective in the country. We don't compete with other schools. That's not our goal. Our goal is to be #1 in what we do. And, NIL is new. We've been in business for a year. Actually, today is our 1 year anniversary as the Florida Victorious. And, our goal is to collect and be the collective of money so we can help our Gators win. If you want the Gators to win, you have to support the Florida Victorious. We are the proud NIL partner of the Florida Gators, and this is the way college athletics is. And I know some folks are not really embracing it, but eventually they will, and they have to if they want the Gators to win.
Text on the Titan our text line from George. He says, how many athletes in sports does the Florida Victorious sponsor?
That's a great question. We sponsor right now 11 sports out of the 21. Our goal is to sponsor all 21, and obviously as the money comes in, we will expand that role. And we have over 200 athletes, and I believe there's over 500 athletes at the University of Florida. Our goal as well is to sponsor each one of them, and as we get more monies in, we will do so. But right now we have about 212 athletes, I believe, or so, that are members of the Florida Victorious.
Another text on the Titan our text line from Frank. He says, I know Johnny Townsend is having a tailgate party beforehand. Is that part of Florida Victorious or a separate deal?
Again, we collaborate with Johnny. His tent will be right next to ours at the tailgate. We are donating some items from Florida Victorious to him, and we work together. He's got a great cause. Former athletes, former alumni will be there, and I'm sure they'll come visit both tents. At the end, we need embracement of former athletes as well for Florida Victorious. We're all in this together. We have all one goal and one mission only, to help the Gators win.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Freddie, let everybody know if they do have a business. I want you to repeat one more time, because that's what you're focusing on. I mean, you want individuals to join as well, but you're focusing on businesses and corporations, how they can reach you.
That's correct. It's pretty simple. Go to www.floridavictorious.com. When you go to the site, you'll see 3 different buttons: donations, which you can donate anytime; membership. Again, memberships start at $15 and go up to $250 a month. And then corporate sponsorship. If you click on that button, leave your name and number or your email, we'll contact you right away. We'll discuss a strategy that helps your business. Anywhere in the state of Florida, we can do those. We've been doing calls every single day, and it's a great thing and the opportunity to help the Florida Gators win.
And Dan has the question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Can you set it up where part of your donation goes to one sport and the other part to another sport?
Yes, you can designate a sport. We have a lot of fans and members that support, and donors as well, that support different sports. Softball, some people like gymnastics, some people want baseball. But yes, you pick the sport, football, basketball, you name it. Basketball, as you can see, they did a great job this year, and kind of, with the help of Florida Victorious, I believe 6 of the players are Florida Victorious members, and they contributed almost 60 points per game this past year. And you saw the transition of Gator basketball and the improvement. And this is what NIL and Florida Victorious can help as well.
And I believe we spoke on this last time you and Nate were on, but you can't say, give my money to Freddie Wehbe. I mean, if you were an athlete, you can't designate it. You can do it to a sport, but not to an individual player, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. All right, Freddie, before we get you out of here, one more time. I know there's a lot going on. You've been extremely busy getting this thing all set up. Should be a great weekend. We got the truck giveaway. We got Johnny and Tommy punting. And then the big thing probably is after the game. Let everybody know one more time how they can get involved in that.
So again, and thank you again for the opportunity, Shane, to mention this. It's going to be a great orange and blue game. There's 5 things really happening. A truck giveaway, which will be come check it out before the game. Come meet us at tailgate before the game and register to become a member and pick up your wristband so you can enter the field after the game. And after the game, there'll be a meet and greet with most of the players and Coach Napier and some coaches. You will need a wristband to get in there. You have to be a member of Florida Victorious to be there. And then we have the punt for cause, the Florida Victorious punt for cause. All you do is enjoy it on the field. They'll be going on at the end of the first quarter. And lastly, and this is important, we have a donor that will match up to $500,000 of all money raised this week. So join us, donate to us, become a member to us. All the money we bring in for the Florida Gators through Florida Victorious will be doubled this week up to $500,000. So let's all do this together and help Florida Victorious help the Gators win.
Awesome stuff, Freddie. Appreciate your time, appreciate your efforts. And I bet you'll be glad you can probably sleep once Saturday's over. A little bit, at least.
You know, it's been a busy week, but we have a good team. We have a solid team behind us. We're all working hard to make and help the Florida Victorious and the Florida Gators as well.
Yeah, good stuff, Freddie. Appreciate your time, my man.
Thank you, my man.
That's Freddie Wehbe, the Director of Corporate Revenue, joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. Let's get to This Day in Sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. In 1983, at the 47th Masters, Seve Ballesteros of Spain wins his second Masters and third major title, 4 strokes ahead of Ben Crenshaw and Tom Kite. It was a money finish because of torrential rain. We could be seeing a Monday finish this week as well. That's brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, and we appreciate them being a part of our program. I want to thank Brent Beaird and Freddie for joining us. Freddie's doing a tremendous job. Andy said, "Are you going to both the Townsend tailgate and the Florida Victorious event?" I'm gonna go briefly, Andy. I don't know exactly what time, but yeah, I'm gonna stop by. I have to get up to the booth. Actually, I may hang out a little bit more. I mean, it's a spring game, so I don't really have to get up there very early at all. Don't forget, softball unfortunately lost last night. No big deal. Got to go play a really good Missouri team. It's highly ranked this weekend, but baseball has to get it going. They need to win this series. They're in the middle of things in the SEC, but really have to win this week because you go on the back-to-back weekends at Vandy, at Arkansas. That will be extremely, extremely tough. So hope you enjoyed today's program. Stay safe out there if the weather's bad. Enjoy the Masters when it comes on. Tomorrow we'll be here, JC, and I believe Edgar Thompson. So make sure you tune in. Have a great day, folks. Take care.